done cutting onions forever. I cut onions like 4 fucking days ago, and my hands, they still completely smell like onion. I've washed them and washed them and washed them. Garlic's, of course, worse.
Yeah.
Garlic, you're not getting that shit off your hand for a week. But this onion was it's unexpectedly potent.
Yeah. I mean, when I used to work at McDonald's, it was just like you would smell like French fries and onions for like days.
That's gross.
I remember I was in Seattle back then, I think, and I would go out to like the clubs after on like a Friday or something like that.
Yeah.
I'd go home and I would shower and shower and shower, but it's like a fucking skunk. I'd be at the club and they'd be like, "Do you smell fries?" And it's just like, "No." Like people would though. They'd be around me. They're like, "Someone's got French fries," and then every once in a while, someone would get close. They'd be like, "Is that you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, man."
That would be a great marketing strategy.
I work
for
at McDonald's
for people. Like you just pay. McDonald's pays people just to be back in the back near that machine. You're making all these disgusting faces. Can you please tell people what you're drinking?
Yeah,
I'm drinking. I don't respect him anymore.
Let me do an anti-plug. What's that called? This is Social.
Social, right?
Yeah, but like I think the ZO means something because they really highlighted it.
Yeah.
Like it's so. I don't know. Organic coffee shot, licorice cold brew. So this is black. This is a black espresso with black licorice in it, and it's fucking gross.
Don't you love those moments where
this was a mistake
when you can get like an honest to God, like guttural.
Yeah, don't buy this shit.
If you ever, oh my God!
I'm wondering about pouring it in my coffee if it would dilute it, but no.
Hey,
sorry, I didn't mean
why
to
fuck up your
faces.
coffee that way?
I don't know.
You know it doesn't taste good. You're like, oh, I could put it in there. Yeah, just drink the coffee. The coffee probably has more caffeine in it than that thing does.
Oh, you were talking about the French fry, like cologne or whatever.
No, what I was saying was, okay, I totally derailed myself because that's the, you.
Sorry,
made,
I'm making faces because
I
would rather drink straight tequila right now. For those of you that don't know, sorry, this is episode 19. This is your podcast for today, which is October 3rd. And we're recording this at like 10 in the morning, and then I'm going to edit this and try to send it out later today.
Nice.
Anyway, sorry. Go ahead. French fry cologne.
I was just saying, no, not cologne, but you get like McDonald's gets people to just sort of, like let's say you're in a mall or something and you got the mall food court and everything. You get people to stand in the back and just soak themselves in that scent, and then you go out into the mall and you just walk as close to people as you can. Well, now you can't really do that, but now that smell is pungent. That'll go over the 1.5 meters you have to obstruct, right?
Yeah, distance.
But that you have to socially distance yourself, and then it's like subliminal messaging, but with the olfactory sense.
That's like guerrilla marketing, chemical warfare.
It's chemical warfare.
Yeah,
by
just
McDonald's.
Take this Febreze bottle full of French fries and just go spray it.
There you go.
Outside the gym. I dated a girl once who would go to Bed Bath and Beyond.
I can smell her on my fingers.
And she would go to no, it's not Bed Bath and Beyond. Was it Bath and Body Works? And she would always wear lotions that were like apple pie and brownies and shit. And it was fucking terrible because it tasted it smelled exactly like apple pie and shit. Yeah, and so you'd be just sitting there getting hungry all the time.
Yeah.
Anytime that girl was around, it was just like, you guys want some caramel brownies? It was fucking good shit. But this is gnarly. This has the saltiness of black licorice because I do like black licorice, like when it's in this like Haribo like candy stuff. I don't know what the U.S. equivalent is of that. There's this candy in the States. I can't remember what it's called. It's like looks
they
like
have
pills.
Black licorice in the States. Yeah, it's called
you know what I mean?
Good and Plenty.
Is that the one that's like pink and white like pills?
Yep.
Yeah.
Good and Plenty.
That shit, I like that, but that's the sweet aspect of it. But if you go to like the Netherlands or like Denmark, like when you get black licorice, it's like salty as fuck.
Yeah.
It's like beef jerky and black licorice.
Yeah, that's how it's actually supposed to be. But here's the deal. I don't like the taste of cucumber, but I would deep throw 1,000 cucumbers before I would ever willfully eat black licorice.
Really?
Black licorice is fucking gross.
The worst thing I've ever tasted was I had a bag of black licorice in the Netherlands, and inside there was like a caramel coin, right? And I saved it till the end because I was like, this black licorice is a bit salty. I'm going to finish it off with this nice sweet caramel coin. I ate that coin. It was not a caramel coin. It was like tan licorice or whatever that is.
Yeah.
I don't know. And it was just a salt bomb. I think I've told the story on the podcast before about the apple pie.
Not. Oh, wait, which apple? Okay,
I'll tell the story
ahead.
again. So if you're binging, sorry if I told this like a season ago. But I was doing all Northwest, and we were in this hotel and they had like all these like hundreds of pieces of apple pie, right? And I took one, go back to my table. There's all this sugar on it, like whipped cream and shit. Take a bite. No, someone had lifted the top of the apple pie slice and put an entire salt shaker of salt on it.
Oh my
God. And it was just that one. Someone was just like, "Fuck whoever eats that," and it was me. And it straight up ruined apple pie for me for like 2 years. I couldn't even smell it. I would feel like I was gonna throw up.
Dude, gross, dude. Actually,
a mouthful of salt.
I saw on Instagram not too long ago somebody takes a straw and they put it in a sweet and sour, one of those McDonald's packets, right?
And they put it inside the drink.
And they put it inside the drink and then give it to somebody they drink.
Because it's all about expectations.
Absolutely.
If you're expecting to take a spoonful of salt, I could do it no problem. But if you're expecting something sweet and then you get something salty, you know?
Oh, oh my God. Now you just brought back, blech, another genuine blech sound from the back of my fucking throat. You brought back this memory of when I was a kid. Are we peeking, dude?
No. I just got it zoomed in.
Oh, okay. You bring back this memory of me when I was a kid, and I was up at our camp, and I was drinking a Coke or something like that, or like the RC or some. It was an off-brand. We were fucking poor. We didn't have the good stuff. Anyway, I was drinking it, and there were other cans there, empty cans, right? And I reached out and I grabbed the can, and I thought it was mine, and somebody had been flicking their ashes off in the can, and I had a good swallow of it.
Oh, God.
Oh, it was fucking terrible.
I think I did that once.
Hey, by the way.
What?
Happy German Unity Day.
Happy German. Is it Tag der Deutschen Einheit?
Yep.
Is that today?
Yep,
oh,
that's today. That's why the supermarkets are closed.
That's like the German 4th of July or something. I don't know.
Look, dude, I actually... You know, we have some good holidays in America.
Sure.
We know how to do holidays in America. I like the 4th of July. I mean, I'm not like the big, like I don't dress up in a fucking flag or anything, but I like the idea that our country was founded upon, and I like that, and I like celebrating the idea that the ideals of the Enlightenment won out in the face of the Mad King George and shit like that. But the Day of German Unity is maybe one of the most justly celebrated national holidays in the entire world. It's so fucking cool. Yeah. If you guys have never gone and looked at what happened, this is the day the Berlin Wall fell. That's why they're celebrating it. And like it's just one of the coolest fucking days. If you go back and watch videos from that day,
where
that
was huge.
There were families who hadn't seen other family members because they were on the other side of the wall for so long, and then it all of a sudden on one day, the wall started people started tearing it down, and it just fucking happened, and it was this spontaneous, like everybody going out and like looking over the wall, looking for people they know, and then this flood of people. It's just one of the most majestic celebrations of fuck people trying to take us apart. And it's funny because I know, look, there has never, I don't mean to get too fucking preachy or anything like that on this show, but there's never been a time, especially when our country was so fucking bitter, so fucking divided. It breaks my goddamn heart every day to be here in Germany and look at the fucking embarrassing shit show that is my country right now. And I look at this, and these people wanted to be together but couldn't be. And right now, we can be together, but we're not. There's a wall that's even stronger than that wall that kept East and West Germany apart. And
well, that's the sad thing, is history just will always repeat itself. You can't stop people. And you even see it like in people's lives as individuals, you know?
Yeah.
It's like you have what you need to be happy, but you're going to like fuck it up.
But we got down this wall, and today on this, that's exactly right, dude. I mean, good job. You hit it right on the fucking head. It's not just society. When we want to tear down these walls in society, we got to start tearing down the walls inside ourselves, right? And recognize that this polarization or these things stopping us from getting what we need and want and love, they're inside fucking us. And we need to take inspiration. This sounds really, really sappy, but you can take inspiration from watching those videos about how these people desperately wanted to be one people.
People so quickly forget history because like you and I were both alive when that happened.
Yeah.
You know, like old enough to see it on TV and shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't like even like the like a lot of this stuff, which people have the feeling like it was a long fucking time ago. You know, like Martin Luther King and all this stuff. It's like, it was not. It was not. A lot of these big problems. The Berlin Wall, I'm pretty sure if you tried to climb it, they would fucking shoot you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was in our lifetime. That was going on in Berlin.
Exactly.
Where you and I have been a lot.
Yeah.
That's not like, 200 years ago some crazy shit went down. That was in our lifetime. People getting shot for trying to see their family on the other side of the wall.
Burrowing tunnels underneath the wall, like spending years and years and years to burrow a tunnel underneath the wall,
like animals caged in.
Yeah, it's
fucked up.
That and it's honestly the story of human perseverance is that you try to stop people and they won't. They won't fucking be stopped.
Well, it's just crazy how fast people forget. You know, like all this shit. Like there's so many people alive that were alive when like women weren't allowed to vote and stuff like that. You know, this shit wasn't a long time ago.
It's not a long time ago.
You know, and people act like that, like we're different now. But it's like, man, people. I don't know. People feel too safe, too secure, and it's like we're not that far away from all that terrible shit.
Absolutely
not.
And
that terrible shit's happening right now, and you're getting to see who you would have been back then.
We should recognize our country, which has been strong and stable for so long. We should recognize that the border to chaos is thin and invisible.
Yeah.
That it can happen at any point to the strongest people, the strongest willed people ever. Even if you feel like you are 100% on the right, which each of those people, like the fucking people on the right and the people on the left, all feel that they are right.
Yeah, sure.
They all feel that they all as strongly feel as the other side that they are right. And now, in my opinion, one side is more right than the other. The people who are on the side of empathy and love are more right than the people who are on the side of hate and wanting to take rights away from people. But still, it's a conundrum because people, no matter what, think that they are right.
Yeah.
And we have to come to grips with that.
You always think you're right. Who would be going through life thinking they're wrong?
Exactly.
You would do what's right.
Exactly.
In your mind, what right is, you know?
Which means that you have to go about it that way. Oh, they think they're right. We have to prove to them they're not.
Yeah.
And I'm just
the thing that's
weak
crazy
about right now.
About the Germies out here is they unfortunately do not like wait. Like in America, you drive down any neighborhood in any fucking state, and you see like flags out on houses and stuff, but you never see the German flag here. German people are not a proud, because of obviously everything that happened historically. But like, talk to Deutschen Einheit, the German reunification day. You know, they don't do anything for that. You get a day off, the stores are closed, you like spend some time with your family. But it's not like the 4th of July. They're not wearing German flag bikinis and shit.
But I kind of respect that. First off, they know what can happen if you put country above everything. They know what can fucking happen.
Yeah.
But it reminds me of George Carlin. He's like, what is this shit proud to be an American? Proud to be Irish, proud to be this. No. Don't. He's basically quoting him. He says, "Don't be proud to be anything. Don't be proud of something that's basically a genetic accident. You're not proud to be 5'11".
Yeah.
You're not proud to have a predisposition for colon cancer, right? Be happy to be something. That's one thing, but to be proud." And then he says, "Pride goeth before the fall."
Yeah.
Absolutely fucking true.
Yeah.
And they just have this. Go look at what Hamburg looked like.
That's crazy, yeah.
Not even a person ago.
Yeah.
Not one person ago.
Yeah, burnt to the ground, man.
Rubble.
Yeah.
Only rubble. Actually, I heard somebody say the other day, the smell of the time after World War II was the smell of disinfectant, because there was so much death under so much rubble that it would be putrid if you did not spray these things. And they used to spray rubble all the time. We are not far away from having rubble in a society.
Yeah,
we
sure.
have to. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to get all fucking ranty, dude.
Political podcast. Michael Pegger.
No, I'm sorry. It's just it makes me think about it, especially today, because the Germans are celebrating unity today.
Yeah.
And it's almost as if the exact opposite is happening in my country, which I love. I miss my country.
Well, I mean, Reunification Day is different than Independence Day. You know, there's kind of like an independency built in there.
That's right.
You want to snag those brew hoo-hoos? Let's get day drunk, man.
Yeah, let's
fuck
get
it.
Day drunk.
I just came off of a stressful series of weeks here, and like a huge project, and I don't know how to come down, man. You know what I mean? Well, like when you're high strung and shit. Like how do you come off it?
We're starting with a good thing here.
Drinking in the morning.
Drinking in the morning. We'll do it for you.
So I think I had a bucket list. I don't talk about my career on this show this much, but I think I had a bucket list item in my career get checked off 2 days ago. Or I found out about it 2 days ago. I think someone stole some of my music.
What?
I think someone stole some of my music. I think my music was stolen.
What? Where? How?
So like 4 years ago or something. So I guess there's some backstory necessary.
Yeah, give it.
Do you know Audio Jungle?
Yeah.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, if you're a composer, you can compose a song and you can put it on these websites. It's so overflooded. Audio Jungle, whatever, you know. Yeah. And people can download your song for, $10 and they get 2 and you get 8. You know, they get the license for your song or something like that. And the thing is, it's with digital music these days, it's so fucking easy to write music that everybody can do it. Yeah. Writing like piano music or something, that takes fucking skill, but to just like write like music but that could go behind a YouTube intro video is fucking easy, right? So I thought I wanted to write a couple of these, but around the time I wrote it, most of these websites stopped taking submissions, except from people who are already established on the website, because they can't sort through it. Because, of course, they have to have a standard. Someone has to listen to all these thousands and thousands and thousands of hours. So I had this music that I wrote that nothing happened to. So I put it on YouTube, and I was like, I have a note on it, and I was like, use this music, but please credit the name of my company where I write this music through, right? And so, so there's a YouTube channel, Mindseed. And there's like this big channel. They got like millions of subscribers and shit like that.
Are you serious?
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that their intro song is a ripoff of my music. And I'm going to play both of them, and you tell me.
Okay, yeah. I'm really interested to hear it.
So if you search on YouTube and you search frightening music, like the fourth one is mine.
Yeah.
Right? And so I'm going to play it, and then I'm going to play their intro song, and you tell me, because obviously mine was first. It was years ago.
Yeah.
And this video came out like 6 months ago that they made or something like that. But here's mine, okay? So this is 40 seconds long.
Okay. Oh, yeah, we used this.
Yeah, we used this in our
in the website launch video.
The website launch video, yeah. We also used it in our prop video. The prop video for the thing.
This.
Those bass drops.
Awesome. Yes.
Okay, so I can't stop it, unfortunately. It's gotta go.
Let it go. I'm down.
Voice over.
Nice.
So that's mine, okay? Now I'm going to play you their intro, okay? Oh, wait.
What is that?
Is that not the same?
Yes. Wait.
The strings didn't come in. It's exactly 40 seconds. It's the exact same length. It's the same key. It's the exact same tempo.
Exact same tempo, same structure.
And in their comments under their video, they say like all music is taken from the YouTube like audio library and fair for use, which I did say you could use it for free, but I also said you gotta link to my channel, if you're gonna do it.
You did tell them that.
Well, I didn't tell them that, but it says that on the video.
Yeah. Okay, but is it possible that somebody else stole it and then put it out as theirs, and then they used that one?
Maybe.
Did they link to the...
So let me give some more backstory. This channel, I think it's called Mindseed TV. They just do scary shit. They go in haunted houses, poltergeist, this type of shit, right? And so I think it's very likely that whoever was creating this intro and shit would search frightening music.
Right, sure.
And mine's the fourth one that comes up, So, like, I don't know, man.
Look,
how do you know if someone stole your music?
There are two possibilities.
Yeah.
Okay, so there are two possibilities. One, they stole it and then use it for their own. Mm-hmm. I get it. That's the most likely thing. Or sometimes, and you know about this from comics, sometimes things just kind of happen in parallel, but it is weird that it's the same key,
same tempo,
same
strings, the same octave.
Yep.
The same bass drops, the same whap, wait, bass drop at the end.
Yep.
The strings come in like.
I mean, it's a little too close for me to give that credence.
Yeah.
It's a little too close for me to actually believe that. Yeah, you should write them about it.
No, I won't because I don't give a fuck. But I just think it's funny. I'm not even joking. I always wanted someone to steal my music. I thought it'd be cool. Someday,
absolutely,
someone stole your fucking music, right?
Well, there it is,
and it
dude.
happened, so I checked it off my list. Because I'm not gonna pursue this. I don't give a fuck. Because there's no money in YouTube unless you're fucking huge and shit. And plus, I'm not trying to get money. And if they link to my channel, no one would go to it anyway because no one gives a fuck. So I don't give a shit. But I just want to tell myself it's stolen just so I could feel. So
I like it.
I checked that off my list.
I like it, dude. Well, congratulations. Congratulations on that.
On getting something
stolen.
Yeah.
The next thing to check off your bucket list is if somebody conducted that music.
Yeah. What do you mean? Conducted the stolen music?
Yeah, I'm segueing, motherfucker.
Oh, okay. I see, okay. Yes, we'll continue to segue if you'd like.
No, we're talking about conducting today.
Yeah, sure.
Are we still?
I guess. I don't know.
We don't have to.
Now we'll talk about conducting.
Do you want to cut that out?
No, we don't. We don't cut.
We don't cut here.
Batons and corks and wands. Someone out there is using a Harry Potter wand as a conductor. There's too many nerdy conductors for that not to be going on.
Yeah, of course. Well, I would imagine with these, if they're not doing it on these concert tours where they do Harry Potter music.
Oh, yeah, that's a missed opportunity. You're fucking up if you don't have the fucking wand.
It's a bit on the nose. It's a bit on the nose, but you should fucking do it.
Yeah, man, I haven't had many chances to conduct in my life, but I did it in school. I enjoyed it. Fucking ictus,
Throwing out the one fucking conducting term we know. No, look, for me, the conversation starts with, we've done 3 seasons, and we've almost never talked about the person who's holding all that shit in an opera together.
Yeah.
All of it.
Yeah.
All of it. The person who's controlling pace, tempo, everything. We've barely even mentioned it. We've got to fucking mention it, dude.
Yeah, well, something that, when people are naive to opera and classical music, I don't get upset because it's like, why would you know about it?
Yeah.
Like if you don't know about symphonic metal, which is their favorite genre, which is much bigger and more popular than opera,
right,
then how are you going to talk down to them for not knowing about your niche thing
that
is statistically very small and not a part of everyday mainstream shit? If we see opera all the time because on Facebook the algorithm's like, this guy must fucking love opera because he follows hundreds of opera singers. I'm like, those are just my friends, But if you don't know any opera singers, you're not seeing it on YouTube,
right,
or on Facebook or whatever the fuck. But so when people are naive about like Phantom of the Opera's an opera, I'm like, no, it's fine. But the one thing that does piss me off for some reason is when people arrogantly are like, why do you guys need a conductor? You can't count. Like even Jerry Seinfeld, I think, did a thing about it or something like that.
Oh yeah?
And yeah, I think Jerry Seinfeld.
I don't remember that.
I think it wasn't in his routine. I think on the show there's like an episode about like the conductor, the maestro.
Oh, the maestro, yeah.
Yeah, I think he in that has a stand up. He's like, you can't count to 4. What's the deal? Like he does this thing. And that pisses me off because it's like, of course, that's not what he's there for.
Right.
That's not what a conductor's there for. It's that I had a voice lesson yesterday. I explained this. I was teaching someone somewhere over the rainbow, right? And this person usually sings pop music. And I was like, listen, one of the coolest things about playing with a pianist and live music that people forget is that the fact that it can stretch and pull, it can move spontaneously. Right. And you got a rock band with a drummer and shit, you can't do that. It has to be planned. But if you have a good pianist and a good singer, you can just stretch and go. Yeah. And when you're a singer and a pianist, the singer is the one that controls that decision.
Right.
They're the interpreter of the music. But when you have an entire orchestra and an entire ensemble of singers, each person is a musician with a valid interpretation.
Yeah.
And we can't all do it at the same time.
But yet,
someone has to be head interpreter. And to me, that's the main job of a conductor.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is our interpretation of this piece.
It kind of reminds me of, you know how in traffic, right?
Yeah.
Whenever it goes from red to green, and everybody now at the traffic light can start going, you being the fifth car in that line can't go immediately.
No.
You have to wait until the car in front of you goes. And that car has to wait until the car in front of it goes, and there's lag between each one of those things. Why? Because first off, they're restricted by the car in front of them. But not only that, they all have their own thing going on in their head. It's 5 separate intellects having to somehow coordinate. That's 5 intellects. Sometimes in some of these big orchestras, there are 100 people on stage. Imagine what it would actually take for a symphony orchestra. Let's just say that. Let's not even say opera. Just a symphony orchestra to coordinate in some kind of coherent way. Especially and take into then consideration that they're often sitting far apart, and then there's a time. There's a bit of a time delay. They're hearing something a little bit after it was played, which means that their reaction to something that was played then is then also delayed. So it seems to me to basically be an impossible endeavor to do those things, except outside of the realm of chamber music. I mean, chamber music already, if you have like a piano quintet, the amount of breathing together, the amount of like silent coordination it takes.
Yeah, but with
and
a lot of that
communication
stuff, like
is
string
incredible.
quartets and stuff, like I don't know if we said this on the podcast or if this is a private conversation you and I had. I can't really separate it anymore. But we were talking about, there's a show we're doing at the theater right now that is pretty much all improvisation.
Yeah.
The whole show's improv, right?
Yeah.
But that's not completely true, because real improv would be absolute chaos.
Yeah.
You have to have a fucking structure of some sort. You know what I mean? And these string quartets and stuff, when they move and they stretch and pull together, there's moments where like maybe the violinist leads it and stuff like that. But often you kind of have to have a basic concept of what's gonna happen.
Absolutely.
But what's very cool about opera is there's lots of moments where, especially there's acting and there's recitativo and shit like that, where it's like it is very different on nights.
Yeah.
Also depending on who's singing, but also you want to have it free enough where if someone has some fucking extra gas that night and they're going to hold that note, then it's just like, all right, we're doing something unexpected.
Right.
And then you only need 2 people to understand, you know?
Exactly.
And so it goes hand in hand with what you're saying. You couldn't coordinate that amount of freedom. And that's what I think a lot of people, and even classical musicians, forget, is the fact we're not trying to just do a fucking standard. This is free, and we can be spontaneous, and that's the coolest fucking thing. That's what makes it better than pop and makes it better than computers and shit, is that in the moment, I can surprise myself with what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Look,
you need a conductor to fucking pull that off.
Exactly, because there are just way too many people to do it otherwise. They're just it's a matter of numbers. Conducting to me is something that when people watch it, so there are so many singers who just don't fucking get it, who don't understand exactly how difficult of a thing conducting is. It drives me nuts. It drives me fucking nuts whenever I hear a singer say, yeah, well, that was a little faster than we did it before. And I'm like, yeah. It's fucking hard to do what that guy's doing. How the hell is he's not a metronome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but also
that's how a lot of singers
what I mean.
treat them.
Yeah, but that's also what I mean is singers, they have their ideal way of doing it, you know, and then they get stuck in that. And they want it to be exactly like that. And it's like, well, you're doing pop music now. Then we might as well get a karaoke track behind you, you know?
Yeah, then why not? Exactly. Why not just press play and then you can sing to it and you know exactly how it's going to go.
Obviously, there are these situations where it needs to be singable.
Yeah.
And then that's an argument to have. But if it's about preferences and shit like that, then you need to have a sweet spot where you want it to be, but it has to have some pull on either side.
Yeah.
And people tend to want it to be like the exact fucking same. But yeah, like you get up in front of like people and try to conduct them. It's like, man, And they're dealing with problems that you don't even know is going on down there.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? People get like, because they're not just managing you, because singers are like, they think about themselves, but it's like, he's also got to manage the fucking English horn, you know?
Right.
And the English horn's got to be there, because if that cue's not there, then you're going to be fucking pissed off later. But it's like, man, I can't be with you right now, because I need to be with fucking them.
Yeah.
And at the whole time, you're trying to keep the tempo, the exact fucking same.
I mean,
it's a tough fucking job.
Sometimes, look, both sides piss me off a little bit every once in a while. You'll find somebody that's like, well, yeah, look, he's looking down at the music. I'm like, yeah, there's a lot of fucking music. It's hard to memorize all of the instruments and all of your cues and all of everything else and all the artistic decisions that guy wants to make. So, yeah, it's fucking hard to do that. And sometimes, by the way, he has to pay attention to other people, not just you, right? And then on the other hand, sometimes those singers are right. There are conductors that just, they think like metronomes, and they're not giving and taking at all.
Yeah.
But the great people who are great are able to make music. That's really that's the main thing.
Yeah,
is that you can make music.
And we talked about it on the podcast before, about how like I like collaborators more than like
Totally.
like dictators in that regard. But also like conducting, it's also they have to be really good actors, Like really good conductors have this way of showing on their face, like the mood they want the piece to be. Like, we're being light. Like, this is fucking aggressive. And it actually influences how you're playing. Very often, especially when I was an instrumentalist, like you look at the conductor's face and you're like, oh, yeah, that's the mood, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like you only show so much with your hands, but as I said earlier, they're kind of like head interpreter of this whole thing. And there's a big difference between like, I don't know, remorse, regret, sadness, And if you can see it on someone's face, because I've had conductors who are amazing actors, with their face, and it really motivates me to like get to that place. And I think people don't think about that a lot. Like in conducting school, I doubt they teach that.
Well, it's funny because, I totally agree with you. When I'm up on stage and I'm doing, like, I'm bleeding.
Yeah.
I'm letting the blood right out of my fucking heart.
Yeah.
If they're with me, emotionally also, it helps so much. But then again, someone like Riccardo Muti, right? It has this fucking stone-ass face sometimes when he's just standing straight and doing it. He's incredible. He's really, really good. And I don't know if that would take... I don't know. I've never sang with him, so I don't...
Yeah, I know. Like you're responsible for your own shit, of course, in the end.
Yeah.
And I was thinking more of like symphonic stuff, like as an instrumentalist. But as an opera singer, I don't know. There's different types of people, but I feel like when you do a show 60 times, like you and I do sometimes, you're always fighting against the urge to just fucking, hone it in and do another one. What's it called? Reining it in?
Right. No, phone it in.
Phone it in. Just, phone it in. And just like fucking, just like, do it. And sometimes if they're committing, you see them down there sweating and shit, then you're like, we're giving a fucking show.
Absolutely.
But if they're kind of just beating time and shit, like let's do this like last night, then I don't know. It's hard to fight against that then.
It's funny. You mentioned collaborators making music. To me that is also the biggest thing. And there's this weird line where somebody will get to when they say, "Well, now I'm a maestro, right? Now I'm a fucking maestro."
Yeah.
And they want to be treated that way, and it is straight up, I'm making decisions and you're following. And I think to myself, God damn it, that's taking away from the obvious musician that person is. I had this great conductor named Will Humburg, right? And he is a straight, like, I've never respected, he's one of my top musicians that I've ever worked with. Great musician. And the thing that made him so great was he was clearly knowledgeable about everything. It's so knowledgeable. But he was open enough for me to say, I want to try it this way. And he'd say, yeah, let's try it.
Yeah.
And then afterwards he'd be like,
no.
Look, it didn't really work, but it's probably because of this bit. Let's try changing this bit.
Yeah, that's really good. But that's what I mean is like head interpreter. It's not like you do my interpretation.
Right.
But you take all the information that's there and then you with your decision-making ability, which is you have that job because it should be beyond all of us, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then you decide we're going to take your piece and your piece and your piece, and we're going to make something special.
Yeah.
And I'm going to use what's here before me.
It's kind of like what you were talking about the other day we in the rehearsal for your pieces for my recital. Like there are things that you had intended with the music, but David and I are doing it a different way, and now you're hearing something fresh and new. And a conductor's kind of the same way. Like you have all these different people bringing something new to the table, and if you're rigid and you can't let go of your idea of it, then that's it.
Yeah.
Then you're rigid and you can't let go of it. I mean, I once worked with somebody who they were insistent upon this tempo, and I'm like, look, I can't do that tempo. I can do this tempo. This is me.
Yeah, this will make the show work, but yours is going to look
right.
like
Yours is going to make me look like a fucking dick.
And the whole show.
And that was a bad conductor.
Yeah.
That was a bad conductor because he was willing to throw people under the bus for whatever he had. Right.
And a lot of conductors, they study piano, they study violin and stuff like that, which is important. But it'd be really good also if conductors, I don't think it's a prerequisite, but if you wrote your own piece, it's really eye-opening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think it could really help your decision-making in those types of processes. And that's a constant, because composers, they don't put this shit in there for it to be right and wrong, but they do it because they're trying to make something happen on stage.
Right.
You know what I mean? Verdi chose that tempo because he wants it to drive. He wants it to march. He wants it to be aggressive, or he wants it to lilt. He wants it to be sad. He wants it to be melancholy, whatever. And it's like, if you can capture that mood, even if you have to do it a little bit different. Verdi was, of course, writing music for people. And you're conducting his piece for different people.
Right.
And so you have to imagine if Verdi was there, he probably would have adjusted it for the person.
That's a good point.
Because Verdi wants to make the show effective.
And he probably would have adjusted it to the people who are in the audience now. I mean, he was writing for a specific audience, and now the audience is very different. Very different. So he probably would have changed a lot of shit. But the conductor has that possibility now. The conductor has the possibility to not do what is a fucking standard interpretation, but to help foster something new.
I think it's a bit of a Dunning-Kruger thing. I would love to conduct stuff, but I think even though I have a fair amount of knowledge about it, I think it's probably, I would be shit at it. It's way, because when I took conducting in school, I took extra classes beyond the required amount because I really liked it, and I felt like I was pretty good at like trying to emote and cueing, like I had good coordination and stuff like that. But it's like any job. I was having this conversation the other day. Like every job has shit about it that you never would have expected. Right. That's like a big part of the job,
and you can't know it until you actually do it.
No. Like, being a singer, there's a lot of fucking paperwork, Like, you were at the theater the other day, you fell down, and so it's like you have to go fill out fucking paperwork, like an accident report and shit.
Right.
And I jumped in for a show, and it's like I got to fill out like 7 pieces of paper, for this thing that like just happened in a couple hours. It's like, well, you got to fill out the stage insurance paper, and then you got to fill out the payment paper, and this payment, and the theater paper. Yeah. And it's like there's a lot of paperwork in being a singer, and then like taxes and shit like that. Like, and with a conductor, I think a lot of it is people skills and management. You have to be a good manager.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of musicians struggle with that. And it's hard to find a good musician who's also a good manager. That's different.
A good manager, but imagine the amount of tacit knowledge that you have to have you have to know about how a flute articulates. Because you have to know what to ask for and what not to ask for. You have to know
why things are happening.
Exactly. Why things are happening, what is possible for a flute, what is possible for a trumpet to do.
And I can do that with very few things, like with piano, singing, and like some string instruments. But to do that with everything. That's why I have mega fucking sympathy for conductors. I mean, big time sympathy for conductors. Unless they suck ass, then you have no sympathy for me. Did you do a lot of conducting in school? Did you enjoy studying it?
I did. I studied conducting also. I conducted the magic flute and some musicals and choirs and stuff like that. I miss it. I really miss it, but I do not miss. I mean, being an opera singer is difficult, but Jesus Christ, when you are standing in front of musicians, the amount of attention it takes is gross.
Oh, just to focus for that long.
Just to focus and know that your brain is constantly working what is coming up next so that I am prepared, so that I can give that to the singer. Oh, now this bassoon needs this.
Yeah, you have to be perceiving what's happening in the moment, but also you have to be constantly knowing what's coming.
Yeah.
You have to fix things in the context of like what we need in a moment.
Totally.
Yeah, no, it's really hard.
Oh my God. And I was one of 2 conductors for, do you know the musical Urinetown?
Urine?
Urine.
Like piss.
Like piss.
Piss Town. No, I don't know Urine
It's
Town.
this, oh my God. It's actually a really, really cool musical. It has something to do with, it was so long ago now, about how this guy has a monopoly because you have to pay to piss.
Nice.
You have to pay to go to the bathroom, right?
Like Germany.
It's basically like Germany on the Autobahn. But, by the way, I appreciate it.
Yeah, they're always clean.
They're clean as fuck. They're doing something with that money.
Yeah, for those that don't know, you got to pay like 50 cents to use a bathroom at a rest stop in Germany.
Have you ever had to hold it in because you didn't have the 50 cents?
Just go under the rails. What are they going to do? Call the police?
I guess so.
Like, there's no one watching the camera. There's no alarm. You just duck under. I was at a gas station once. I was like, listen, man, I don't have any cash. I got to piss. Like, I have my card. Can, like, you give me cash back? And he's like, just go under the rails. And I was like, all right.
Nice.
Just duck under if you have to.
Oh, that's good. You duck under.
Yeah.
You do what you got.
They always, at these, we're going to get back to your thing in a second about Urine City, but I'm going to take a detour here.
Urine City.
Yeah, at these rest stops, they have these like what are those called? Those turnstile things.
Yeah,
I can't remember. My
aren't
English
they
is
called
shit
turnstiles?
Maybe, I don't know. But you pay and then you push through. But there's always a little cardboard cutout of a kid, and if you're small enough, you can
which
fit
I
through
could fit through.
Which you could probably go through sideways, but I would get stuck. Oh my God. But anyway, you're in cities. You got to pay to go to the bathroom.
Oh yeah, Urinetown. I was one of 2 conductors for it, and I remember I went and saw a show.
Yeah.
Never again. Never again. It was the most stressful time. I was sweating during the show because I knew what problem sections were, and I was my hands were just like completely.
It's like watching a role you've done.
Oh my God,
you
that's
can hear
also,
you're like, oh shit, he's having trouble. Fuck.
Forget about it, dude. I think I've told the story before about going to see Siegfried in Dessau, right? I mean, it's. This guy, the Siegfried came out and sang his first note. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, oh shit.
Oh, is this going to happen tonight?
Yeah, what's funny is because you go to one or two places. Like, anytime I see Tosca, there's a Scarpia. Either I hear him having trouble and I'm like, oh no, or they're rocking it. I'm like, I fucking suck. Like, you can't just enjoy it unless it's like a role you don't know very well or something like that.
But with conducting, it's 1,000 times worse because...
Yeah.
Again, the concentration is constant. I don't concentrate all the time on stage. What the fuck do I have to concentrate all the time on stage for? It's not actually necessary.
Yeah, people say that. They always say in university, like, you're supposed to be always present. But, like, if you're in the background, like when VC Dante happens during Tosca and Scarpia is just sitting at the table, I'm thinking about anything else.
Right.
Like, I'm like some, like, director, like, especially university, they tell you to have this whole backstory, like, emotions. But, like, I eat some food. I keep the face what it should be. But I'm thinking about, like, what I'm going to do later. And then at the end of the aria, I get back into character. But, like, you can't.
Look, seriously. And,
it's not efficient to be in character the whole time.
That is a realistic. That is a thing that even... Like, the top professionals will say, you stay in it all the time. You stay in it all the time. You cannot tell me. You cannot tell me you're not thinking, oh, God damn it, I have so much laundry to fold when I'm home. I have so much fucking laundry to fold. I better not have a parking
ticket, God damn it, when I get out of here. Yeah. I think we talked about, like, in season 1 about, like, there's no method actors in opera,
I mean, there are times when I'm really, really into it, and I can stay into it for a while.
There's moments.
But it's never, I never have to. That's the difference. I never have to.
Yeah.
I could fake every one of you motherfuckers by not being in the moment, but a conductor does not have that luxury.
Yeah, sure.
Not at all.
Yeah.
They have to be there, and if they're not...
Yeah, they can't check out once.
Everybody fucks up.
Yeah, and that's exhausting because especially once you do, like, you're in your 40th show or something like that, you go backstage, like, you and I, when we do shows together, we go back to your dressing room and we have our phones out and we're bullshitting, and then when we go back on stage, it's like we get to where we need to do it.
That's right.
But we're checking out for huge chunks of time during the shows.
Let's say on stage you are 100% involved, you become that character. You don't even have your own identity anymore. You don't keep that up when you go off stage. And everybody goes off stage at one point or another, and that means you can shut down.
For baritones, it would be exhausting because most of the time, Father and Hansel Gretel, Escamillo, it's like you come out, you sing the big aria, you fuck off for 90 minutes, you come back, sing the last aria, you're done.
Right.
That's most baritone roles. It's like, I'll see you in Act 4. And if I was just backstage being Chenard for all of Act 3, like, how fucking crazy would that be?
You just having a little funeral for that fucking parrot.
Yeah,
that died.
I'm like, oh, this French horn's D is
wrong.
wrong.
Character.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's not realistic.
No, it's not realistic. But those goddamn conductors,
Conducting
got it.
in school, though, the American school system, it's weird. Because in German, we talked about it before, and someday we'll do a big podcast about German schools. But in German schools, since you're not paying a lot of money to go there, then you're expendable. If you fucking suck, they kick you the fuck out. They don't need you. But in American schools, they won't kick you the fuck out. But the weird paradox is some of the best training is in American schools.
Yeah.
My training was very, very good, but there were people parallel to me getting the same degree. And I remember during my bachelor's, we had a conducting class, and we had to conduct like everybody else. It was, I think, a mix of instruments and choir people, but they would have a camera directly in front of you. And then at the end of like the day of conducting, we would have to watch everybody and do notes. And I remember those like write notes on their conducting.
God
it's
damn
fucking
it.
brutal, right? And so you're just like, you're looking at yourself, and everyone in the class is watching the same video, and you're like, fuck, man, I'm sweating my pits. And there was this one girl who never in 4 years consistently conducted a 4 pattern. And that's not a musician thing. Everyone should go down, left, right, up, down. Like everyone should be able to do that. And she never did it. And they gave that girl an education degree. And she is, as far as I know, working in some school somewhere.
God damn it.
You know what I mean? Like, fuck cues.
Do you have any pet peeves, by the way? Like when you're standing on stage, is there a pet peeve that it's like, I could jump off the stage into the pit and strangle this person right now?
Like with conductors?
Yeah.
I have to think about it. The thing is, I don't know. I don't use conductors that much. I check in, you know what I mean? But I don't want to rely on them too much.
Yeah, but there must be something that they do that fucks you up.
Yeah, if they visibly show when something's going wrong. Like if they show frustration.
Yeah.
It's like, buddy, I'm frustrated too.
God damn it, dude! I had
but you get a beat off, and they're like shaking their head at you, and they're like really fucking showing that you're wrong. It's like, bro, fix the problem. I know I'm wrong, man. Just fucking give me a downbeat,
dude.
There's no downbeat. Sorry,
I once ran. What did you just say? When there's no downbeat, when there's no clear downbeat.
Yeah, like I did this show once, and the conductor, I'm giving less and less of a shit. I'm about to start calling all these people out by name, but I did this show, and it was a conductor who had worked everywhere, Deutsche Oper Berlin, blah, 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 right? And it was an American guy who's been in Germany for 30 years, and I was worried about two things. One, doing a good job, and two, my German was shit back then. I was like, this guy's German's going to rock mine, right?
Uh-huh.
And he comes out to the rehearsal, and in Germany, there's like a Ben and Jerry's commercial where they do the American accent.
Yeah.
And they're
das ist nicht fair.
Yeah, wirklich lecker. And it's like, no one speaks German like that. Like, I know I have an American accent, but that's over the top. It's like, Germans are not like, what? What are we doing today? Like, you don't really see people talking like that.
Some, maybe.
Yeah, some. But this guy came out and he was like, also, Leute, wir haben eine Probe today. Like, and he was like mixing. It was like just the shit accent. And when this guy conducted, it was just this random flailing, And I was like, can I get a clear downbeat? And he's like, yeah, sure. And then like his interpretation of what I was saying was he would kind of do this like I don't how do I describe what I'm doing right now? This is a podcast.
Tiny inward
like
circles with both hands.
Like if you had to like stay afloat without using your legs in a swimming pool. like that's what he was doing. Like if you had to get inside a vat of milk and
this
churn
guy's
it
drowning
and make chocolate
musically
milk.
and literally.
Yeah. And his interpretation of what I said was just looking up at me with a panicked look. That was his giving me a downbeat. It's like, bro, just boom, just give me one at this section. Like do like churn the butter, but then just give me one flick of the wrist.
Dude, I asked you, of course, because I had my own.
I know.
That's what questions are for.
Yeah, well, that's what your questions are for.
No, mine is, and it like you said, you check in, right? You don't have time, like ever.
Well, you're not going to be acting if you're fucking
right.
Like,
you're not going to
be
acting if you're glued to that
there.
guy.
Yeah.
So you're checking up, and oftentimes it's like, okay, here's a checkup to make sure I'm at the same part of the measure exactly as this guy is, right? What pisses me off is when somebody does a 3 pattern, they go down and then like swoop to the in and then out and then up. Do you understand what I mean? So they end up where a 2 is normally in a 4 pattern because they're going in with the pattern, right? So it goes down and swoop in, swoop out for 2, and then up for 3. It makes like an anchor motion.
Sure.
And what pisses me off is if you're looking up for a second and you see a hand in like that, you're like, okay, this is obviously a 2.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
In some kind of
pattern. You see it inside.
It's maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
But a 3 needs to be 1 down,
and then
2 out, 3 up.
Yeah.
And if it's not, then you can suck a dick.
This shit they teach you in conducting, school, it actually matters, and it's nice when a conductor does it. Like my problem. Everyone has their problems. My problem was the hot stove. Right, I would do it down. I would flick the
People
down,
do
the
that
2.
all the time.
I would flick the beats, which you still see that all the time.
Or
your path from the 1 to the 2 is like slow, fast, like it's like jerky. But like you have to have these predictable movements. And you're right, and I think instrumentalists maybe don't realize it so much because if you're allowed to look at the conductor the whole time, then you have a context of what's going on.
Exactly.
But on stage, I'm looking out of my peripheral vision most of the time.
Right.
I'm not looking directly at the conductor.
Exactly.
And
which means in a split second.
I need to see not only the beat, but I need to see the rate that we're moving between the beats.
Exactly.
Because it doesn't help me just to see a 2 with no context.
Right.
Like, there's a 2. But I need to see the 2, 2, 3. Or is it 2, 3? I need to see that movement evenly distributed.
The guy who teaches conducting at CCM is Mark Gibson, and he's kind of known for this. He's like known as being a conducting guru teacher, right?
Yeah.
And what he said, what he would say is, once you hit a beat, your wrist starts moving to the next beat in tempo.
Yeah, even what you're doing right now is this probably should have been a video podcast.
I guess so, yeah.
Mike and I are doing a lot of conducting to each other.
We're doing a lot of conducting, but I mean, it's you know what it is?
What?
It's fucking paint the fence.
Yeah.
Paint the fence,
Karate
wax
Kid.
right? Because what he would do is the up and down was wrist up and wrist down, right?
Yeah.
Which means you're going to the 2 with the wrist, right?
Yeah.
And it's clear, like it was clear as fuck. The guy was always easy to follow. Mark
Good
Gibson,
conductors
when
are
he
like fuck. It's like art what they're doing up there.
Yeah.
There's some great conductors here in Darmstadt. I don't know if I should say their names, but it's just so clear.
Yeah,
it's so fucking clear. But also they're they're in control.
Yeah.
And I always have, when you respect and you trust is a big thing with conductors, which we haven't really talked about yet.
That's right.
But when you're up there with a conductor you don't trust, then it's stressful because you feel like you're having then to make sure that you're aware of their mistakes. I did a show, and I would call every fucker out if I remember their names, but it was like 15 years ago. I did Bohem, I think, was something, and it was like one of these things where they had like money and they threw all this shit together, and they got this conductor who was like, from what I understood, like an elementary school conductor, which nothing against elementary school conductors, but it's a different set of experiences.
Absolutely.
And this guy never made it through a scene without like putting down the baton and like flipping through the pages and having the orchestra members tell him, measure
where
58.
He was. Oh my God.
And then we're up there, we're like, there's a fermata coming, dude. Get it up. And like often what it became was me making eye contact with the violinist.
Yeah.
And he would like give me a nod, and it became a giant string quartet.
Yeah.
It was fucked up,
well,
man.
actually, that's funny that you mentioned. That's funny that you mentioned that having contact with the violinist. I did that recently.
Yeah.
I did that recently. I'm not going to say what show or what conductor because I like the conductor, but his pattern in rehearsals was somehow different than it was in performances. And if you were exactly with his beat when he was standing with the orchestra, he would say, "You're ahead of the orchestra. You're rushing. No, I'm actually following where I see that beat." So what I started doing was in tricky sections.
Yeah.
I started watching the violin's up and down bow.
Yeah.
Because that is clear. They are if they are with him, then I knew if I could get a periphery of in my peripheral vision of that bow going up and down, I'm going to see downbeats.
Yeah, but you're looking,
and it worked like a fucking charm.
Because
He's
if
like,
it's quarter,
Mike,
if it's
good job, you're with us now. And I'm like, not your doing.
Yeah. Well, you're right, because if it's quarter notes, it would perfectly be down, up, and then the length in between would also be very predictable, unless they were like getting louder or some shit like that.
Well, the thing is, you
do what you got to do to survive.
As long as you know the violin's part, they don't even have to go up and down on a regular basis. You just know, up, here we go. I can hear what they're playing somewhat, because on that stage, sometimes you're not getting any feedback.
No.
So it had to be a
And
visual
one of
thing.
the themes of the world right now is digitalization, right? And when you talk about conductors on monitors, theaters, they just plug in, like, look, if you put 100, like, okay, HDMI cables don't really work over 50 feet, right? This and the longer cables they start to slow down.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
The digital signals do, but they're not the analog.
And if you got wireless shit, and there's different monitors, there's displays, there's different cables, and they don't do this research. There's different frame rates, like all this stuff affects lag and delay, and theaters don't put any effort into figuring that out.
I'll never.
And they're like, there's a monitor right there, isn't it? It's like, yeah, man, but I could literally out of my right eye see your downbeat, and then I see it mirrored a second later on the monitor. It's like, so I'm just gonna go for the middle.
I'll never, ever forget it. We were doing Albert Herring in Oldenburg, and the guy was like, "No, you guys aren't together." I'm like, "I'm watching this monitor. It is together with this monitor." And then it hit me. I started watching him, one eye on the monitor, like looking in between, one eye on the monitor, one eye on the thing, and it was one of these bits that was fast, and it had to be super precise. And we eventually did the experiment. This group of people is going to watch the monitor. This group of people are going to watch me. The people who were watching him were together, and the other people were all behind, even though if you switched, they could be together with him, right? And then they figured it out that they were using digital monitors instead of analog monitors. They switched them out and got analog monitors. Worked like a fucking charm.
Yeah, because that shit matters. You're talking about like frame rates and stuff. You know what I mean? Like if you're filming in 50 frames per second or you're filming in 25, you're seeing half the pictures. That's how it fucking works. You know? And in certain things it doesn't matter, but also then like the rate in which the screen is showing this shit, like in certain things, it fucking matters, you know, and nobody thinks about this. Nobody has a knowledge of it. And then all this expertise gets kind of fucking wasted because you bought some shit TV 20 years ago. Like, the monitors are always an old fucking black and white TV.
I don't even mind those, though, because those black and white TVs, they're analog. They're going to be with that. It's when they say, all right, we're upgrading. Here's a flat screen. Yeah, well, the flat screen is behind the fucking conductor.
Yeah, flat screens are for watching TV most of the time.
Right.
You know, they're not for editing. They're not for like live streaming shit. You know, they're for watching fucking Netflix. Right. So let's put on fucking
Netflix.
Let's put on Handmaid's Tale. And let's watch this shit. I think we got to wrap this up.
All right,
we got a sponsor, though. You got the name?
Oh,
you
yeah. Here we go.
Do this at the end here.
Getting some sponsies.
I haven't sent the password yet because I think we got this like last night.
We did. I love when we get one right before a show.
Yeah.
That makes me happy.
All right. I can do a fade out. You don't have to do the whole thing if you don't want to.
Yeah, let's not do the whole thing. Today's sponsor.
Yeah, just do a downbeat.
Is Jennifer Lambert. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Jennifer.
Give her one big
Jennifer
shout out.
Lambert. Lambert! How?
There you go.
Hey, Jenny. Jenny Lambs.
Do a nice
Jenny Lambs is now helping SDAO survive. Jennifer, thank you very, very, very goddamn much, because this is it's huge. Every single patron that we get, it's like Christmas Day.
Yeah.
I always write Jared, oh, we got another one. Oh, yay.
Yes. Like I said, I haven't sent the code to the secret sponsor section, but for everyone that sponsors us, you get a code. You get a fucking password and access to a secret sponsor section, which has years of content, including for every main podcast we do, you get an additional podcast that's the same length. It's just another fucking podcast that we record. And if you want to become a sponsor, you go on Patreon. It just costs you $5 a month. It's not that much.
Or you can buy us a beer on Buy Me a Coffee.
If you want to make a one-time thing, you can do that. You can buy some stickers, and otherwise you can just give us a nice follow, like, or subscribe on some of our social media pages to help out. But as I've said many, many times, I'll continue to say until the end of this podcast.
Till the end of time. We're never stopping this podcast,
the end of time,
people. Never.
Just decided when we lose our sponsors, we're just going to go more hardcore.
That's exactly it. Dude, I can't wait to unleash
The beast.
The
Mike
beast.
and I, at some point, will say we're done with a music career, and then we will.
And then I can't
then the
wait
names
to
and
name
stories
names.
and the exposés.
We'll be
gonna
getting
start
sued
rating.
for libel all the time. We won't have
Is it
any
libel
money.
if it's fact? Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. But this really, though, is not possible without sponsorship. It's totally not. The business module relies on I'm between languages here. Relies on sponsors. So thank you so much. Otherwise, that's it from us today. Unless you got anything else you want to say to the
I got
peeps, Mike.
nothing.
So everybody take care. Happy October. And we'll see ya.
Happy Unity Day.
Happy Unity Day.
Find somebody. Give them a hug.
Give them a hug. As long as you live in the same household. Otherwise, give them a wave. And we'll see you in 2 weeks.
COVID.